but I am noticeably better from having run a fucking marathon yesterday after cold water submersion. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, okay, so yesterday I just ran my first marathon. So needless to say, I am very sore today. What am I gonna do about it? Well, I'm gonna do some cold water submersion the best way I know how. So hey, how's it going? My name is Scott. Welcome to my channel. And if you've never been here before, you know, what I do here is I can just sort of let my freak flag fly, and I talk about things that are of interest to me, and I want them to be of help to you. And I believe that I don't know what in the world I'm talking about unless I can teach it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about cold water submersion here today. And it's the last thing I want to do. It's absolutely, I don't want to do it, but I know it's going to absolutely be the best choice, the best decision that I can do for myself right now. I can barely walk. My quads and calves are just absolutely on fire. Yesterday was the first time I've ever run a marathon. Just never been that far before, and it was so fulfilling, and it was essentially a religious experience for me. I mean, I shed a tear or two when I was done with it, quite frankly. And man, if you've ever thought about it, yeah, maybe I should do it. Let me tell you, go ahead and commit and just make it happen, because to do your very first marathon will never be convenient. It's not like you just have all sorts of spare time. You just sort of need to shoehorn it in and make it a thing. And man, it'll be something that you will not regret it. You'll be so glad that you did. I've seen tons of interviews on YouTube with folks that are very old, and it's all about regrets. You know, these guys and gals, they don't regret trying stuff, doing stuff, failing at stuff. It's the stuff that they didn't do that eats at them the most. So I'd say, probably Oprah Winfrey might have inspired me to do a marathon. I know that that's something that she did, and she did it when she was, I don't know how old she was. I should have researched that, but I'm just going off the top of my head. I do recall seeing her crossing the line at a marathon. It's something that she always wanted to do, and she put her mind to it, and she trained, and she did it.
I vowed that I was going to run a marathon, even though I was all blowed up at the time.
Did you know Oprah transformed the marathon world? In 1987, the queen of daytime television, Oprah Winfrey, vowed to herself that she would run a marathon by the time she turned 40. And in 1994, that's exactly what she did.
2 weeks ago, I ran the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C., and this was the real deal.
Oprah finished in 4 hours, 29 minutes. When she crossed that finish line, she opened the door for runners everywhere, proving that you didn't have to be an elite runner to do your first marathon.
And just the natural course of running sort of ratcheted me up to marathon status. Before you know it, like I started off with just a 10K, and then I got up to a 9-miler, and then I did a half marathon, and by the time I got to the half marathon, I was running on the regular. And interestingly enough, when somebody asked me, the 10K, I was like, that's the hardest thing I ever did in my life. And then when I did the 9-miler, that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. But by the time I got to the half marathon mark, my wife filmed me coming through the finish line, and it cut off, but I was trying to tell her, it really wasn't all that bad. The training had gotten me there. Oh my gosh, it wasn't. Now the marathon, that might be the hardest thing I've done in my life. I can't recall the last time I was this physically sore. What you can liken it to is if you go snow skiing. Everybody is sore that first day of snow skiing, because you're using these muscles that are just never in play, for you on a daily basis. And so people are crazy ass sore after snow skiing. It's like that, but worse. So I applied ice, but I also wanted to hop in a nice hot bathtub. I don't own a hot tub. If I did, I sure shit would use it. But I took a nice long hot bath last night. But I know in my heart of hearts and in my brain of brains, the best move right now for me is to get in some cold water. So I live in Virginia Beach, and I'm gonna go get in the ocean. The hardest part about the ocean is the waves kind of crash over you. If it were just still water where you could get in and get out, that's one thing. But the waves moving and smacking you and stuff, It's kind of like how you can tolerate cold weather. It's just the wind that sucks. That's the deal with cold water. And in the grand scheme of things, it's really not all that cold. I think it might be like in the 50s or 60s today. It's a very mild mid-November day, November 17th to be specific. And anyway, the water's pretty cool, and I'm just gonna do it. You know, it's by no means like freezing. It's what I call better than nothing cold water submersion. That's what we're doing. And before I moved out here to Virginia Beach, I souped up a ginormous oversized trash can and put a boiler drain down at the bottom so you could drain it. And I just left that in my stairwell on the outside of my old home just all year round. So in the winter time, naturally it got nice and cold, and I put up a little bar, and I could just drop myself into the thing and pull myself out. And you know, when we moved, I just wound up giving the thing to a buddy of mine. So anyway, I'm gonna drive out to the beach. We're gonna hop in, and I'm gonna convert to GoPro here, and I'll just take you with me and go through the process and show you how I kind of make my way through it, and maybe it'll be of some help to you. You know, some benefits of cold water submersion are it reduces inflammation, it decreases cortisol, it increases blood flow, it's gonna make you breathe a lot. But I mean, all of those, and there's probably tons more that I don't know off the top of my head. I just know it's good. Let's see, I need to get in this lane. And I've kind of, you know, the biggest champion of cold water submersion, hands down, is Wim Hof. I mean, he's the Iceman. He owns this thing. And, you know, it's kind of like my dad said about Sammy Davis Jr. and Mr. Bojangles. He said, Sammy Davis Jr. didn't write Mr. Bojangles, but he sure shit owns that song. That's kind of the way Wim Hof is. You know, he didn't invent cold water submersion, but he's the guy. He's who you think of. And actually, I've got a buddy of mine that went out and met him. Like, you can holler at him and go out and learn with him, and you know, be a part of his group for, you know, a week or two or whatever his offer is. So yeah, I'm a fan. I haven't taken it to that level like my friend did. I just sort of do it. And a mantra of mine is imperfect action trumps perfect meditation. You know, there might be somebody saying, well, the water's not quite cold enough yet. It needs to be, you know, 38 degrees. 38 degrees is pretty fucking cold. I'm just gonna do better than nothing cold water submersion. That's all there is to it. And it won't hurt a thing. It can only help. So with regards to cold water submersion, I feel like it's something that you just kind of want to keep on the regular. Like, don't make it something that you bring out when you experience trauma to your body. If you can kind of normalize it and just force yourself to do it every so often, you know, it won't be so bad. So, you know, that's the key, is normalizing, you know, what's normal to you. You know, something that just happened recently is Mike Tyson and Jake Paul just, you know, had the fight, and Jake Paul was pronounced the winner. You know, one thing a lot of people don't realize about Mike Tyson is that dude had been in over 200 fist fights between the age of 12 and 18. That was normal for him, you know? Normal for him was strange men showing up to his door every day to have sex with his mother for money. That was normal. I'm really kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but when I say stuff like that, maybe you'll remember it. So we want to normalize getting in cold water because it's good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and even though I'm kind of normalized to it, it's still a little bit of a shocker when I get in. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the GoPro here. All right, so here we are. We're in GoPro mode, and it is, just in case you don't believe me, let's see. You see that? November 17th. Sure shit it in July 17th. And if you're gonna get in, you know, best thing is just don't dick around. Just get straight to it. Just jump right in. Just go for it. It's not too bad. But it's still the crashy wave. Here comes the nut shot. Woohoo! Alright. And so what I like to try to do is, hello fish. I want to get in and count to 100. Once you make it to 100, you can make it to 200. Oh, yes, 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 yes. All right. All right, it's not too bad. All right. So, yeah, you know any good jokes? Oh man, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Anyway, find something to take your mind off of it. That'd be better. Like talking into a GoPro. That makes things a little bit better. Anyway, long story short, man, I know this is good for me. I don't know what the temperature of the water is, but it's good. It's just something to just woo, wake you up, you know, but not, you know, not put you in peril. And because, man, we want that comfort, man. It's the comfort that's killing us. If we won't put our bodies through some adversity, we won't grow. If we don't put our minds through some adversity, we won't get smarter. You know, like whether you do Wordle or a crossword puzzle or Sudoku, it's exercise for your mind. So just as lifting weights is exercise for your body, I think putting it through some uncomfortable cold temperatures for a while and waking it the fuck up. Like, my blood is flowing, like it's trying to get to places and fix shit that's not really wrong. It's kind of a false alarm. So, which is cool. Testing that shit, making it work. Fire, you know, what is it called? Fire drill, back when we had those in you know, school. And I bet that I've made it to 200 by now, just by chit-chatting. It's not that bad anymore. It's just not that bad anymore now. I've acclimated. Far out, man. You know, I was gonna go to the grocery store after this and pick up some food because Thanksgiving's right around the corner. And I was gonna, whoa, I got fish nipping at me. And I forgot my dang sweatpants. So maybe I'll just tough it out and just wear my wet swimsuit in there. It's, you know, it's the beach. It won't be the first time that's happened. Probably doesn't happen a lot in November, but anyway. Hey, let's go all the way with it. I was making something happen on my watch. Okay, this is not that bad. Do this. It'll help you. If you're going to set up a trash can, if you live like in, I don't know, Kentucky or something, you don't, well, Kentucky has lakes and rivers and creeks and shit. This is what I've got. You know, if I was in Christiansburg and I didn't have my trash can, you know, I found a creek that I could get to. In fact, you've seen it in quite a few of my videos if you've been following me for a while. So hey, cool, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I believe I'm gonna go ahead and hop out, go to the grocery store, and make a dish, get ready for get a jump on Thanksgiving. So, well, I really hope it helped. And cold water submersion, normalize it. All right, adios. Wait a minute, wait a damn minute. Holy shit. I am noticeably better. I am noticeably better. I don't know if this will wear off as I get warmed up, but I am noticeably better from having run a fucking marathon yesterday after cold water submersion. Oh my gosh. Man, I mean, I knew it was gonna help, but I didn't know it's gonna come out that good. Yeah, cold water submersion. Now, normalize it. Adios. By the way, if you think my content's helpful, by all means, why don't you hit that like button and consider subscribing. I drop content all the time, especially every Tuesday. You can bank on that. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.